Do you want to finally get your project going or finally succeed at anything that you're beginning? Do you want to not get self-sabotaged in the middle or having to play the victim role again because somebody else derailed you and caused you to do something, or they gave up, or blaming it on other people? Do you actually want to feel self-secure, in power, and without any sort of fears, doubts, and any sort of energetic blockages that may be stopping you? Clearly, we can do a lot of manifestation techniques, a lot of goal setting, but they're psychological things, energy blockages. These are not always related to our conscious psychology, but they're energy blockages that may be acting as a fence between us and what we want to achieve, where we want to go to. So our subconsciousness is constantly attracting obstacles to support this fence that was originally created for the benefit of us, for our survival, let's say. But at some point, we would need to remove it. So today we're going to be speaking about ways to get rid of limiting beliefs, what the principles are of limiting beliefs, of karma blocks, any sort of energy blocks, and briefly how to get rid of them. But before I go into the subject, let me tell you a brief story. Maybe a few years back, you've seen a video go viral about a horse. It was stuck in the mud, and it was basically drowning in the mud. It was mud, but like quicksand. So the horse couldn't get out, and the owner was trying to pull it. They brought all kinds of prompts and help to pull the horse out, but they couldn't. So what the owner did, or somebody else, they brought 2 additional horses that were cheering the horse inside up. So they were like, whatever noises they were making, stimulating the horse to come out. And although the horse was struggling on its own and it had the physical support, what actually got him out, what gave him the power to jump out of the mud, that seemed like an impossible feat before that, what gave him the power was the stimuli given by the other 2 horses. And there were comments below this video like, yeah, how important it is to have others that cheer you up, not to be alone, and so on. The thing is, it was not to have, it was not really other horses or people cheering him up. It was what ignited the horse's inner power, right? It could have been something else. In this case, it was the horses cheering the horse in trouble up. But it could have been the people, the owners. It could have been something else. It is what ignited this desire, this spark inside the horse to live, right? So in the end, whatever stimuli we have from the outside, it's not necessarily others, although it can be seen through others, but it's just a representation of what we have inside. It happens simultaneously, the spark that we have inside and the reaction from others. What comes first? It's like the chicken and the egg question. We live in a conscious quantum world where things happen simultaneously. It just seems to our logical mind as a cause and effect, and we're trying to give an explanation, but it happens simultaneously. So the spark comes from within, right? So you've probably also heard the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. What comes first? Will the teacher appear and stimulate the student to follow him? Or does the student come up with his spark and call the teacher in his vicinity? It's the same question as the chicken and the egg. Let's talk a bit more practicalities. How to deal with these limiting beliefs, fears, doubts, even karma and deep trauma, psychological trauma from our past. We decode and encode the world around us through emotions and images. Every emotion is connected to an image. So at some time in the past, we have related a certain emotion to an image. Some people may have viewed the circumstance differently. To us, it means something else. Our memory is distinct for us. It's not anybody else's memory. It may happen that a few people have exactly the same memory when they've experienced similar emotions, but what makes a memory distinctly yours is the unique emotion that you experience. So the tools that I'm using are based on two methodologies. One of them is the Silva technique for trauma clearing. Another one is DEIR, it's called Further Energy Information Development. I've talked about it multiple times. I'm not going to mention it on YouTube because it doesn't like content from this country, but the content is very legit and it gives immediate results. It has to do with the upward and the downward energy flows. So basically, the principle of any of these methods, and I have a third one up my sleeve now, a new one, but the principle of all of these methods is that you first go deep inside, be it using alpha or using the ideal pattern state, which is similar to alpha. You activate this ideal pattern state by thinking of a memory where you felt completely at ease, at peace, joyous, and so on. And it's usually related to, or we can easily identify a part of the body inside our body or outside our body that is related to this ideal pattern state. So we can call it at will. Whenever we want, we can just touch, if the ideal pattern state is associated with my left shoulder, I can just touch it and activate this, just as an example. So we need to go deep to isolate ourselves from the external world, from external stimuli. We need to look for this spark, like inside the horse. Then we need to form in our imagination some sort of a timeline. With the Silva method, I use the timeline where the future is on the left and the past is on the right. Most people have a reverse idea of the timelines of past and future. It doesn't matter. With the other technique, further energy information development, this timeline can be spatial. It can be in front of us, behind, up, back, down. In any case, it is kind of geometric. It's either running from left and right, front and back, where front represents the future, back represents the past, and upwards represents the future, downwards represents the past. So you work with these timelines and you ask identifying questions, such as, when is the first time that I experienced this experience? And you can ask a lot of clarifying questions around that to pinpoint the exact time, and it can be in past lives. Now, whether past lives exist or whether this is a fiction of our imagination, it doesn't really matter. It is the association and the memory we carry inside, or we create for the resolution of the problem we've given our mind to seek. So we're telling it, seek, when did this first appear? And the mind may make up things, may conjure up things. Is this true or not true? When it's only your perception and your memories are anyhow only true for you, how can you know whether it's true or not? We work with it as if it were true. And so I have a few courses like clearing karma blocks, eliminate limiting beliefs. Trauma clearing is actually a part of the Healnlearn method course. And now I have different tools that I'm learning based on NLP that eliminate the 5 major fears that we have. They all work in a similar way, not exactly the same way, but in a similar way. The Silva method, for example, asks you to find at least 3 points, 3 memories that you have in the past associated with the experience of this emotion, fear, limiting belief, whatever it is. And you use whatever method you like to erase this situation, and then you project, you replace it with a different picture, with a different movie. You replace it with small movies that are emotional sensory projection. So this means you infuse them with all your physical sensations and with emotions. So I call these energy information complexes. That means emotion, sensations, physical sensations, and images associated with this. So you will have to replace at least 3 of these in the past timeline to make it effective. The other technique, further energy information development, asks you to use other creative tools to get rid of this energy information complex, which is you can take it, burn it, bury it deep underground. And throughout all of these, you're executing activities, like you're moving your hands, you're making it believable to your neurology that you're actually doing stuff. And the more believable you're making it, moving around, reshuffling, the faster it has an effect. And funnily enough, I talked to a client of mine like recently, 2 days ago, and I asked her, what happened to your it was not digestion, it was late night eating habits. She was trying to correct that, to lose weight, because she had the urge to eat late at night. And without going into details, you anyhow don't know who that person is, but that stemmed from the experience of lack of food in her childhood. I've had quite a few clients like that. I mean, we live in a poverty-ridden world, and it happens quite often that people were not nourished enough, or they wanted to eat things that they didn't have available. So this results in some sort of eating compulsions. And so anyhow, and the lady said, oh, what was that? I don't even remember. She said, oh, this disappeared long ago. She didn't even remember. And the thing is, when you start to clear up traumatic experiences, karma, beliefs, it seems like they were never there. You forget about the experience itself. Like when I was using the silver method to heal myself from like very serious fears, especially in the night and nightmares, I identified a specific occasion in my past through a similar method to what I'm sharing with you. Basically, I traveled back in the timeline of my past, and I identified a specific event. Now, whether this really happened or not is of no significance. The significance is what I believed in. And at that time, I believed it. So I used techniques. I used the help of somebody else also to help me clear that. And the fears were gone. Right now, I can't tell you whether this is a true experience or not. You erase it to such a level. When you erase the image and with the emotion, the memory is gone, because memories are kept, they're recorded in the field only through emotion. Now, to make a reference to astrology, for those of you who know astrology, people who have planets in, like Mercury in Cancer, they have a very strong memory, because Cancer is emotion, and Mercury in Cancer is emotional thinking. And so these people have an elephant memory, but everybody's memory goes through an emotional lens. If you want to know how to do it, if you need somebody to guide you, again, go through my courses, Eliminate Limiting Beliefs, Clearing Karma Blocks. I don't have a recording of the Silver Method, Clearing Trauma, but you can also get a hold of me and have a one-on-one session. As I said, recently I have been trained in another methodology that gets rid of the five major fears that we all have, and this acts immediately. This has an immediate effect. Basically, it eradicates the core, the beginning of it all, and it's very fast, which I like a lot. Also, if you haven't noticed, on this channel, there's a channel membership where you can get access of some of these courses and some of the other videos that go into more detail and explanation of the methods that I'm using. So do check it out. It's quite affordable and you're going to love it. Let me know whether you're practicing it, what you think of it, what your experience is. Basically share what is your learning experience with all of that, and how does the elimination of limiting beliefs and if all kinds of energetic blocks influence you. Thank you for watching.